Hello, welcome back to Hellenica. Let's play Hellenica, where we have worked our way through and gotten the last bit of the story we hadn't completed yet. I don't know that, let's see here. We shouldn't make him relive these moments. Looking back, there were so many points at which I could have stopped him, but didn't, and now I'm doomed. To spend eternity here in this gloom, wondering what horrors he's inflicting on our empire and possibly even the world. Wait, you're Darius, Artaxerxes' father? Darius, your fears are coming to pass. Artaxerxes has become a cruel tyrant who rules Persia by fear and seeks to strangle the whole world in his iron fist. This is my fault. If only I had acted on my doubts sooner. Then help us now. There's still time to stop him before he spreads his cruel tyranny to the whole Mediterranean. We're not dead, seeking to fight your son's blah, blah. We're not dead, seeking to fight your son's tyranny. We made this perilous journey to Hades to find you. Help us. Tell us how we can overcome the powers your treasonous son wields. Artaxerxes, my son, always had a brooding nature, but it wasn't until he found that twisted staff that he became truly wicked. What do you mean? What staff? It was a gnarled rod of ironwood, carved in such a fashion that at times it seemed a snake slithering in my son's hands. Along its top were crudely scrawled symbols that communicated nothing to me except for the anger and savageness with which they were carved. What did the symbols mean? I just said they communicated nothing to me. None of my scholars could read them, and Artaxerxes would sneer and say they were ancient secrets not meant for lesser minds. He sounds like a real charmer. Then the accidents began. His sparring partner was trampled to death by a horse. His tutor mysteriously fell from a balcony. A servant who spilled soup on him was found drowned in the middle of her second-story room. Fearing for my family's safety, I ordered a full investigation. Then, when Artaxerxes claimed he overheard two men plotting our deaths, I had them executed, ignoring their protest of innocence. The accident stopped, though I now realize that was likely because Artaxerxes began going on more excursions. He always carried that monstrosity of a staff with him. I once suggested he was growing too old for it, that he should replace it with a golden staff more befitting a prince. He made no reply, only glowered at me in silence. Though it was not until the night of my death that I knew the full extent of that wicked staff's powers. Artaxerxes burst into my chamber with eyes so black they swallowed the torchlight. His voice was nearly beyond recognition, jagged and hoarse, like the wind screaming through the trees of an ancient forest. My guards reached for their weapons, only to be smashed helplessly against the walls as if hurled by a cyclops. And when Artaxerxes turned his weapon to me, it wasn't my son's face I saw. It was something much older, a visage of hatred, glaring, usurper. Oh, I didn't get to read the full achievement. Oh well, I'll read it later. A visage of hatred glaring out at me from time beyond memory, hungering for the earth to be hers again. We've learned what we need to be about Artaxerxes, now to find a way out of here. Great, how do we get out of here? Okay. Luddites, Leonidas. Well met, Spartan. You enter Hades bearing your shield. You must have died a warrior's death, protecting these helpless women. I am pledged to protect them, but... Not that she needs it. She's hardly a woman at all. I think we should go. You're right. There's not enough time in the world to beat brass heads every time they say something ignorant. Diona, you should be more respectful. This is... Haha, she has spirit. With 50 like her guarding the goat path, I might have held Thermopylae against Xerxes. The goat path, that's the path that got betrayed, that allowed Xerxes to come around behind Leonidas. Yeah. Wait, a Spartan king that fell fighting Xerxes at the hot gates? Oh, wow! King Leonidas, the greatest warrior of Spartan history, except for maybe Achilles. Because I think no, that was a different group that thought they were descent from Achilles. But anyway. For 3 days, he led 300 Spartans to hold the pass of Thermopylae against the innumerable hordes of King Xerxes. His sacrifice and bravery inspired all of Greece, and soon afterwards we rose to drive Persia from our shores. And we're going to ignore the whole bit about the Thespians that also died with him, the 1,000 Thespians that also stood with him and died, so that there was actually 1,300. We're also going to ignore the fact that the Athenian navy successfully destroyed the Persian navy in that same battle, despite being outnumbered, because the Athenians were better sailors than the Persians, and had to flee when the army was destroyed. Because it makes so much better story if it's just 300 and not 1,300 plus a navy. Not to mention the fact that there was more than 1,300 because there was a full-scale army there from all over Greece. It's just all except for the Spartans and the Thespians ran away um, when the goat path was betrayed. And the Athenians couldn't stay when the army was destroyed because they were navy. They needed the army for cover. They were there to provide the army cover for from the naval navy getting around behind them, but they needed the army to give them cover from the Persians. But anyway, so he's a great big brass-head hero. Hurry up and get him to sign your shield so we can be on our way. It's more than that, Theona. If Xerxes had been successful in that invasion, all of Greece would be part of the Persian Empire now. He was successful in that invasion, and if we don't get back to the surface and stop Artaxerxes, Greece will fall into Persian clutches anyway. And yes, he was successful in that invasion. Xerxes did conquer all of Greece. It was freed later, because the Athenians knew when to retreat and bide their time for a better opportunity. While even one Spartan holds a spear, the Persians do not threaten Greece. Sparta it's complicated, you see. Your homeland has descended into bloody civil war because some rebels are steadfastly opposed to the king's changing of tradition. What traditions are? It doesn't matter. Spartan's loyalty is to his king. Is that how you and your companions died, fighting the rebels? No, I was shipwrecked and then turned into a turtle. Why were you so far from Sparta in her hour of need? Great King Leonidas, my shame is greater than you can imagine, but I was fleeing Sparta, pursued by King Callias' guards. I was assigned to protect General Lysander, and after he was murdered, I had no way to prove my innocence, and no one believed me. So rather than face execution for a crime I did not commit, I ran. I don't know where I'm going or what I can do to help my country. Why were they so convinced it was you? No one else had access to his chambers, and the headless body they found certainly didn't. I don't know how it happened. Maybe they picked the lock or used witchcraft to. Soldier, I believe you. If you were a coward, you would have dropped your shield and fled, but you kept it with you. Why? I couldn't abandon my shield. Because you are a Spartan, and a Spartan would rather die than lose his honor. But you're afraid. I'm sorry, I know a Spartan should know no fear, but bah, whoever told you that never had 1,000 Persian arrows raining down on him. The coward fights only those who he does not fear. A true Spartan faces his death, shouts in defiance, and strikes that much harder. Be a man, true Spartan. A murderer stalks our city streets, and none save you know it. Sparta needs you, even if you are afraid. What if I'm caught and killed? My efforts would be meaningless. Look around you, Brasidas. Rich and poor, fools and wise men, all equal in death. This is your future. Your only choice is whether you will join us as a coward or as a Spartan. I understand. She came out of nowhere as silent and deadly as nightfall. We didn't stand a chance. She must have been human. The gods wouldn't send a spirit to oppose us. But how could she have snuck up on all three of us? She was waiting for us. Somehow she must have known. What were you? Speak of how you died, spirit. My companion wishes to know. Were you slaughtered by bandits? Did a vile temptress end your life? Brass! No, temptress. I hardly saw her before I felt her knife. She must have been one of the Theban shadows. The Theban what? The Theban shadows. We heard the rumors that Thebes was protected by an invisible web of spies that only appears after they've caught you. But we thought that it was just propaganda. She slew my companions and me in the blink of an eye. I can't imagine those cold, dark eyes blinking. She knew about the bomb, and since she hasn't joined us in Hades, she must have known how to disarm it. But how? I was told there was no way to. And even the pirate that delivered it couldn't have known when we would. Well, whoever, or whatever she was, she's on the wrong side of the hammer of history. One way or another, Thebes will be brought to ruin for its steam-loving ways. A reckoning is coming for her and all the other cog monkeys. Eerie cavern. That passings lead upward. Do you think it's the way out, Fiona? That path will take you to the spirit. But not without some nasty surprises. Allow me to advise you on the proper path. Who are you? In life, I was Atreus, honored explorer and maker of maps. That's a distant memory now, though, but I might relive it briefly here by directing your return to the surface. Atreus, I remember hearing that name somewhere. How would you have us leave this place? The first thing you'll want to do is... Atreus gives the party directions. We got two things because these are the... Don't trust Atreus. Trust Atreus. but we're not going to do that. We're going to go here. Timey-wimey trip through the time stream. Back to Athens and Parthenon. A luddite, robed figure, not open yet, and Callias. Let's listen to the Luddites. Callias is right. These Theomechani have brought nothing but trouble. Come now, surely you don't mean that. There must be some benefits of Theomechani you enjoy. How about the Pan-Hellenic Railroad? Surely you've ridden the train somewhere. Well, I suppose it did make it easier to visit my wife's parents in Thessaly, but on second thought, that's all the more reason to burn the railroad down. What about all the trade it makes possible? What about walnuts? Everyone loves those, right? Oh yes, my wife makes a delicious walnut bread. And if it weren't for the railroads, you wouldn't have access to walnuts all year round. But that's just it. I wasn't supposed to have all the nuts you wanted all the time. Sometimes you need to tough it out. Are you saying that having access to goods you want makes you weaker? No, what I mean is it's unnecessary. As much as I like walnuts, I don't need them all the time. People get too used to having what they want, whenever they want, and now we have to put up with those Theomechani. These days, it seems like most of the city is running on Theomechani. It used to be that men would get paid for doing an honest day's work. Now they babysit cog-cranking, steam-spewing monstrosities. Babysit? I put a lot of hard work into building and repairing Theomechani. It's true. She may seem flighty, but she'll hunt a misaligned valve with the tenacity of a hawk. I guess all the cog monkeying isn't that easy, but it's not like back-breaking field work. I believe the slaves were mainly responsible for that. Well, yeah, and you must admit a steam plow is easier to deal with. It takes 3 times the work of any man, and there's no fear of it rebelling against you. The steam plow isn't the problem, that's useful. Then what is the problem? Well, the other kind of Theomechani that people use. Mechanical looms, brass mining drills and such. Don't even get me started on the steamboats. Used to be Athenian rowers were the pride of Aegean. Now they just sit behind control panels wearing silly hats. They've gone soft. But your steam plow hasn't made you soft. I already said that it's useful. You understand that Callias would ban a steam plow if he had his way, right? He better not. That's a beautiful piece of work. He paid nearly a talent for it, too. What if other people feel the same way about their mechanical looms and steamboats? I haven't really considered that. Maybe you should. Let's continue talking to Luddic. Well, the real problem is the railroad bringing rabble from all over Greece. I hear that's how Socrates' assassin made his way in. Even without the railroad, could the assassin have come by boat? Well, yeah, but it probably would take him a few extra days to get here, or if there was a storm. It's just too easy for foreigners to get here is the point. And all foreigners are bad? Well, yeah, they're always eating their weird food and speaking with accents. Weird food like walnuts. Now, that's no fair. We use walnuts in just about everything. And how do you find out about them? I don't really know. Likely a Persian merchant. Family friend of mine owns a walnut orchard and delights in selling the nuts to Greeks across the sea. You're a Persian? Isn't it obvious? Just look at his clothes. Huh. My neighbor's family has similar clothing, so your neighbor is a foreigner. No, I mean, sure, he was at some point, but that was 5 years ago. He's basically an Athenian now. Plus, he's a great guy. And the rest of the foreigners aren't? Well, now that you mention, I guess a lot of them seem alright. Pretty much just normal people, like those of us here not wearing a bear. It is kind of weird. Grrr. Just saying. You know, now that I think about it, a lot of the stuff Callias says is sounding kind of crazy. I wish it was this easy to convince people in real life. I hope we don't end up going to war with Thebes. Anyway, I think I'll go home and hide my steam plow, just in case. Let's talk to Broke Figure. You're crazy. What are you doing wandering around with a Theomechanical bird in the midst of these rioting Luddites? Aren't you afraid of what the Luddites will do to you? Most of the looting and riots have been contained, restricted to the city below, and if anyone does come after me, well, let's just say I can look after myself. What do you mean? Are you a member of the Pythagorean Order? Oh, are you a member of the Pythagorean Order? It would make sense. Those heretics are nothing but trouble like the city. Whatever you may think of the Order, do you really expect them to be fomenting an anti-technology revolution? No. So what do you make of the Alcmeonids' claim a heretic? He certainly has his reasons for spreading fear. Since Socrates' death, Callias has become the most powerful person in Athens, a troubling sign given the threats from the east. See? The Pythagorean guy is on our side. Guy? I thought it was a woman. Moving on to the more important matters, What did you mean when you said the threats from the east? The system is complicated, with many variables interacting with each other in subtle ways. The equation is centered in Persia on the god king Artaxerxes, the prophecies of Pythagoras. Heretic Fiona, we don't need to listen to. We'll listen to whatever heretics I choose. Remember, Anaxagoras told us about the shipments going through Crete. When Artaxerxes' trindles reached elsewhere, I want to know about it. Go on. Artaxerxes appears to be the prophesied threat to Greece. He'll try to destroy Greece from within before invading. Shield grind. Pretender king designed Greece. Fiona, if that's true, we've got much bigger problems than some ambitious firebrands or their unruly mob. Correction, they're the same problem. This unruly mob will keep Athens divided and weak. And unless I've made my egregious error in my calculations, they're about to embroil northern Greece in a war as well. Bah! Athenian soldiers are nothing without their steamboats. You think that much more of Thebes' army? If it weren't for the civil war, Sparta would strike down these Athenian rabble-rousers. That's no mistake either. Mana. This does reek of the pretender king, insidious, secretive, and manipulative. Evil spirit of the Magian religion. He's associated with evil thinking, sensual desire, and trickery. And of course, sensual desire is associated with evil. Of course it is. So you think Athens is going to war with Thebes over this, based on the lies of a few aristocrats? Witness the Assembly's decision for yourself if you don't believe. But by then it might be too late to stop things. It already is too late, but just because one equation is solved doesn't mean the answers to all the others are fixed. We'll find Plato. If anyone can talk some sense into the Assembly, it'll be him. A single voice of reason, struggling to be heard amidst the chaotic happening. We have to try something. Okay, we can... Alcibiades? Maybe you can help. Plato, I thought you were moping around in the Agora. I'm afraid I'm needed elsewhere. The Alcmeonidae are committed to managing this crisis, and that's just it. Your family's out of control. Excuse me. No, please, let me put this more diplomatically. Alcibiades, I know your brother and Socrates were rivals in the assembly, and I understand why Callias would try to rally the Luddites to build an influence. But rallying up the Luddites like this will only plunge Athens into chaos. They attacked us earlier! See, this is what I mean. It's appealing to the worst in everyone, fanning the flames of hatred. It doesn't seem like he's consolidating power anymore. He's bringing Athens to the brink of war. And you want to stop him? I think we can stop him. That's why I need your help. We were, some of Socrates' best students. If we speak in unison, we simply will have to take note. And someone needs to be a voice of reason in these times of madness. You're really committed to this, aren't you? Of course. I won't have this great city torn apart from the inside. Socrates wouldn't let this happen. Very well, I'll give you my support. When the time comes, give your impassioned speech. My brother will try to interrupt you, but I'll stay his hand. If it looks like Callias can't even control his family, he'll have trouble controlling the assembly. Thanks, Alcibiades. We may not be able to stop things entirely, but we can at least delay whatever Callias is planning. Maybe all Athens needs is a chance to catch its breath and think. I'm doing the wrong voice. I'm doing the Pythagorean voice for Plato. Socrates is dead, and people are scared, but we can't let that rush us to decisions we spend decades regretting. Well spoken, Plato. It's no wonder you were Socrates' favorite. Thanks, Alcibiades. I knew I could count on you. Oh, that sounded like, You seem much more confident before. I think you have a plan. Sort of. Plato and Alcibiades are going to confront the assembly and persuade them to see reason. I'd rather trust my spear than the words of some aristocrats. Alcibiades, the Alcmeonidae. Yeah, Plato figures the family name should carry some weight. That's inconsistent with models. They never predicted Alcmeonidae would try to defy their own. Well, maybe your models just can't account for human conscience. No, everything can be broken down into numbers. No. Perhaps Alcibiades has greater bravery and intents than the rest of his brethren. Yes, yeah, plus he probably feels bad about the way his family used his creature's death to seize power. All the same, it doesn't seem consistent to me. Regardless of the numbers, the flow of human heart is unpredictable. It depends on where you stab them. I'm not sure what's worse, a heretic's math scheme or a Spartan's logic. We have a new path. I was scared about addressing the assembly by myself, but Alcibiades is an Alcmeonidae. All you have to do is say his name and people will listen. Wow, I didn't expect Alcibiades to agree to that. He must not be such a bad guy after all. Perhaps, but maybe we should keep an eye on him just in case. I agree with Fiona. Coals can be just as dangerous as open flames. And... Yep, that is open. Let's continue going reading this, though. Callias continues his speech. Theban influence has grown in Athens by virtue of geomechanical contraptions. These steam-powered scabs are a blemish in Athens, taking away jobs and livelihoods, undermining our independence. Thebes doesn't care about Athens. They don't care about how people fare. All they care about is lining their pockets. However, unlike Thebes, Athens has not forgotten its human vigor. We won't be frightened by this act of terrorism. Today will show just how mighty Athens can be. Athens will rise like a seismic wave and crash down on Thebes, washing away their corruption just as Poseidon punished the arrogant geomechanists of Corinth. Allied Athena would never have it that way. We should seek a peaceful solution. Good citizen, you forget that Athena is the goddess of courage as well as wisdom. Continuing civility with these cogmontes would be cowardice, and any who argue for it are of slow wit, better suited to be Spartan brute than Athenian citizen. That swine, if you were to face a Spartan in... Ow, my foot! The no-fighting rule goes for you too. I'm calling for an emergency meeting of the Assembly to discuss Thebes' necessary punishment. I hope you will all join me in deciding a course of action that will exemplify Athenian pride and send a message to this terrorism will not be tolerated. With one hand he raises a bloody banner. I wonder what he hides in the other. An iron fist about the Persian silvers? Or just a mirror to marvel at his magnificent conceit? Yes, but let's not wonder too loudly, alright? Understood. There's lightning in the air and kindling underfoot. Okay. We have nothing else. So, we just have the one path. And the assembly is gathering soon in the Acropolis. I should go prepare for my speech with Alcibiades. Okay, I have about a minute left of this video, but I'm going to stop it right now, and see you in the next one.